Hello there, and welcome to our little Saturday night live stream. I'm Rob Whiteside, your controller, host of Deep in the Plus, a panelist on Park Center, and a heck of a graphic designer if I do say so myself. But let's not talk about me. Let's talk about Disney Plus. I'll be your guide on this magical journey through Disney Plus, and it's the perfect job for me because I love movies. Now I know most of you watch WDWNT for parks news and pickle jokes, but tonight's story on WDWNT Live is somewhat unique and calls for a different kind of introduction. And I know you're probably feeling a little nervous right now, but don't worry. Every viewer has felt this way at one time or another, even the heroes that went to the moon. So I want to remind you to stay seated with your seatbelt fastened nice and tight throughout the show. And hey, everybody, make sure you keep your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside at all times. Or as Jeannie likes to say,
para su seguridad, permanezca sentado y mantenga sus manos, brazos, pies y piernas dentro del tren. Cuide a sus pequeñitos. Muchas gracias.
Yep, it's going to be a glorious 10-hour finale.
You got 120 minutes.
Okay, let's review. That's popcorn, drinks, safety strap, fear of heights, keep your hands and arms inside at all times. Anything else? Oh yeah, have a great show. Hey guys, thank you so much for being with us on this Saturday night. We really appreciate you being here. I'm Rob Whiteside and this is Deep in the Plus Live. So welcome. We are going to be talking about Disney Plus. It is 3 or 4 days until the 6-month anniversary of the opening of Disney Plus, or the addition of Disney Plus to our lives. And it couldn't have been better timing with COVID. Maybe they knew the pandemic was happening. Who knew? No, they didn't. So we're going to talk about everything from the interface to the shows, to the originals, the catalog, everything in between. So feel free to join us, in chat. We would love to hear from you guys. And as a matter of fact, we've got a little something for the folks who are going to be in chat. We are going to offer you up a bingo card. So Ben is going to put that in the chat. And then if you guys want to pick that up and download it or print it, and then follow along, and the things that we say, if we say anything on that card, go ahead and put an X on it. And the first 10 that we get sent to me at robw@wdwnt.com, we'll send you a Deep in the Plus button just for, again.
Oh, shoot, that muted everybody. Sorry, Rob. That's my fault.
Okay. We just appreciate you guys again so much for following us on WDWNT Live for 7 days a week, 2 shows a day, and we're really excited to bring you Deep in the Plus Live. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce the panel tonight. You know him, you love him from the Wolf Den and from WDW News. Tonight it is Eric Wolf.
Hey guys, I'm ready to do this. I got my control, I'm in front of my TV, so let's get deep into Plus.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, and then also with us, our Disneyland reporter, and the one who I think kind of showed some moxie on the March Madness, and this is Katie Dunn.
Uh-oh.
Oh yeah.
Hi everyone, I'm doing good.
No.
Ready to get deep. Good, Moxie.
Yeah, it's good, Moxie. Sorry. Okay, so again, thank you guys for being with us. I want to start by talking about Deep in the Plus. If you guys don't watch the show, we'd like you to. Every Tuesday night at 7 o'clock, we drop an episode where we go deep into the Disney Plus catalog, and we like to go even deeper into the movies that are there. So sometimes it'll be a movie that maybe you might have overlooked or you haven't gotten to yet. I did Lady and the Tramp recently, and Tom let me have it that it was not deep in the Plus, but I would argue that most people do not go launch Disney Plus and go, you know what I'm going to watch? The original Lady and the Tramp. I don't think they do that. So again, they joked with me that maybe I should do Tangled next. So most of them are going to be a little deeper next time around, so that we can actually go and deep into the catalog. So if you want to, all those episodes are up. We've done Newsies, and we've had people from the show on. And Ben and I did Phineas and Ferb Star Wars last Tuesday for Star Wars Week. So, so we hope you guys watch that. I would like to start off by talking about the interface. So since Disney Plus launched on November 12th, they've had a few upgrades, but they had to come out of the gate strong. Netflix and Hulu had been around for a long time, so for them to live up to our expectations of what they were going to do, they really had to deliver, and they did trip and stumble at the very beginning. There were a lot of outages, a lot of weird things that happened at the very beginning. It gave us very MDX Shop Disney vibes. But I feel like they've done a pretty good job with coming around for the interface. The only thing is that I'm not sure it's as good necessarily yet as it will be at some point. So I guess I wanted to start with Eric and say, Eric, what are your feelings about this interface versus, say, Netflix, Hulu, CBS, any of the others that you're using?
So the thing that I do like about the interface in this particular streaming service is the collections tabs that they do have. I love the fact that you can just go in there, you can click that Pixar tab, you can click the Star Wars tab, and then everything is going to be on there. And unfortunately, right now, there isn't that like in the other things. Like right now, Netflix, I do know, because I've been watching it, has Back to the Future. But sometimes they don't come out all three at the exact same time, and all three are there. So I do like that about Disney Plus, that they all have those collections, and you can kind of just go there. I do wish maybe the collections were a little bit more. They can broaden those collections a little bit, because I do think that there's some other things that they can group together and have in one of those collections. But that's one of those things that I really do enjoy.
Cool. Anybody else have any severe feelings about the interface itself?
I think the interface compared to, I really like Netflix. I think Netflix has my favorite interface, but I would put Disney Plus above Hulu at this point. I think when it first started, there was a lot of problems when it was like continue watching or like having what you were currently streaming reappear back on the app, and I think they fixed that. I really like what they've done with the interface since opening, at least.
Cool. As far as the devices that's available on, this is where I start to have a problem, because I feel like there are certain devices that I have that I can use it. I can watch it on my cell phone, I can watch it on Apple TV, and I can watch it on Amazon. But I start to, like, if I've got some older, like I have an older Vizio, I have an older Samsung, neither of those will provide that. I think Samsung has some of the newer ones. But I guess this gets to the point where, they'll catch up eventually, and I'm sure that every device that comes out needs its own coding. I think, Ben, you would know more about that than I would.
Yeah, so with a lot of the smart TVs and stuff like that, you're going to have to write code for that specific device. If you're lucky, it might be running something under the hood that like Android or something like that, where you can just like kind of write it once and have it work for a bunch of different things. But usually for things like that, it's running like on the TV. So you have to write code for a TV, not for like a phone or something like that, where it's relatively common. So that's something where like a lot of TV manufacturers aren't going to want to update their TVs in the first place, because it is kind of on them to update it to provide this functionality, at least to some extent. They would much rather you buy a new TV. See, if you buy this TV, you can get Disney Plus on it. Like, why go get this? Go buy more. Like, there's no incentive to backport it to old TVs or anything like that. So you're kind of just stuck there. Chromecast and stuff like that works great. I think Apple TV works as well. So they've got options for you if you have external hardware, but a lot of the built-in stuff is just kind of
Well, and I think that the original Apple TV does not use it, because the original Apple TV didn't give you the ability to add apps.
Okay. I wouldn't know much about that. I'm not an Apple user, so. But good catch. No.
So, well, and I mean, I'm kind of an all-device user, so it's like I will find a device that will play this thing, whether it's my PS4 or my Xbox or Apple TV or whatever. So, it's just nice to be able to play it in more places, and that's one of the hiccups that I've had is I can't watch it when I'm sitting in bed at night. I can't watch it because I have a Samsung TV, and it's not going to play it. So, yeah. So here's a question to the panel again with the device. I kind of love the fact that there are so many avatars that you can choose from. And like versus like MDX when you go in and you have a limited amount that you can choose from. I did a manual count because they kind of trick you a little bit with this, right? Because it's like featured, and then it's like Mickey and Friends, and then so like Mickey could be in like 7 different catalogs. So it's really kind of tough to figure out where like which ones are original and which ones are not. So by my best estimate, with manually counting, there was about 134 different avatars, and they added a couple for Star Wars Day, which is kind of cool. So you would think this is enough. I want to ask each of you, starting with Katie, what is the avatar that you have for Disney Plus, and then what do you think is missing?
What avatar is missing?
Yeah, which circle icon would you like to have that's not there?
That's a really good question. Right now it's Flick from Bug's Life. I remember being very excited that he was represented. I was like, oh, yes, finally some Flick love. But if there was anyone, it'd be kind of cool. I know we should stay away from parks, but if we had some park IPs in there, that'd be kind of cool. Maybe like if we had the Hatbox Ghost as a, I don't know.
I like that.
That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah. Eric, what about you?
So right now I have my buddy Buzz Lightyear. He is my icon. But I do wish, and actually looking at them now, I do wish maybe like Mr. Potato Head was on there. Like other Pixar characters, they have the basic main characters for Pixar. But I do wish they would have some other ones. Personally, for me.
What about you, Ben? Do you have? I mean, there's no hiccup in this one, so I'm not really sure what you're working with.
No. Mine right now is Robin Hood.
Old school, nice.
That's a good one.
It's classy. Speaking of foxes, though, they don't have Nick Wilde, Judy Hopps, anybody from Zootopia on there. Like that just seems. Really? I didn't see it. Did they have they added that recently? And I just wasn't looking in the right spot because.
No. Like I said, there are a lot. So I could.
I take that back. I take that back. It's there now. My profile has just changed right now, live on air.
Breaking news! Just in. What did you get? Now what? Are you switching it to Nick, or are you switching it to Flash?
I gotta at least keep it a fox for a little while. That's good. That's gonna be Nick.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I take that back. I guess they got everything at once.
And it's kind of silly. But it's kind of fun too. Like to figure out, which icons are you going to use. Personally, I just went with Mickey, and I know that's boring, and that's what my MDX is too, because Mickey's the man, Mickey's the original, and there are too many to choose from, really, because like Darth Vader would be kind of cool because I do love Star Wars, or maybe Yoda. Obviously, that would be a good one to do, but. Marvel, that's been fun too. So it's really neat to see what comes out. But I love Katie's idea about there being new parks IP out there that we could filter into there. Can you imagine if you had Figment or Orange Bird? Hands down.
That'd be crazy.
That's where I'm going. 100%.
The Country Bears.
Yes.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, yes. Put the Country Bears in there. That would be fantastic.
Just a Brer tail, just right there. That's the whole icon.
Now I'm going to get an email from Tom that says we're going to do fake avatars on News Tonight next week.
Watch it happen.
Yeah.
One
of the other things that we talk about on Deep in the Plus each week is about the content warnings, because it's kind of interesting. Like, I love the fact that there are these things in these movies they didn't change, and while a lot of them say that. And I forget the wording. It's about outdated cultural depictions, and so I feel like it was somewhat brave of them to not go back in and edit these. There were movies that they had edited before, like Gaucho Goofy and taking out the cigarette and things like that in the past. That you're messing with history. You're George Lucasing this thing to death, right? So when you go in and you actually can see them in the way that they were meant to be, that's kind of cool. My only thing is, I think that there need to probably be a few more than there are. Like Lady and the Tramp. I don't know if I mentioned that, but we did Deep in Plus on Lady and the Tramp. So on Lady and the Tramp, they have the cat Cyan M, and I don't think there could be a more outdated cultural depiction than Cyan M, as they're singing their little song, and it's got this just kind of outdated like Asian music reference in it, and so I think that I like that they kept them original, but I think that they need to do more in the way of the warnings. Do you guys have you guys even looked at the warnings? I mean,
I'm gonna hijack this real quick because the Lady and the Tramp one, I just pulled it up, and it does have at the bottom of the description that this program is presented as originally created. It may contain outdated cultural depictions, so that may have changed very recently, potentially in response to you pointing it out. But
seriously doubt that. I seriously doubt that.
So that tag is there now, at least.
Okay, well, I'll give you a better example. Hunchback. When we went into Hunchback, and I'm sure it looks like Ben's looking up Hunchback now.
Oh, of course.
So that's great. Call me on it. Absolutely.
No, that one doesn't have any.
Okay, so it does have one for tobacco use. So when you're watching it says something about tobacco use. But there's some dark stuff in that movie. I mean, I don't know when the last time was you guys watched Hunchback.
I have not watched that.
Oh, you've never seen it. Okay. But there's this one where... Oh, it's been so long. Well, if you were a little kid, then shame on your parents, because that movie...
Right.
Again, like, there's this whole thing where he's like... Where he's singing about the fact that if Esmeralda won't be his, she'll die. And then,
really?
There's this like hellfire, and he's like in a scene with her. He's like sniffing her hair, and it's super creepy.
Yeah,
and they're like, "Oh, watch out! There's a tobacco depiction in this. Kids don't smoke." So I feel like that's one of those things. Again, I love the fact that Disney. Didn't edit a lot of this stuff, because there is some stuff like Peter Pan and What Makes a Red Man Red. That song is obviously, everybody just gasped just now when I said it out loud.
Yep.
Imagine that there's a 2-minute and 2.5-minute song in the middle of that movie for the kids. So, but again, it's part of the original culture, and Disney changes Pirates of the Caribbean and things like that all the time to update them because of the things that were portrayed there. But I respect that they've done it. I think it's brave. I just think that there are some things where they probably need to go back and rethink and do a couple more.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah.
Any other thoughts on that topic before I move on?
No, honestly.
I can't really think of anything else that I might just be blind to it at this point. I don't even notice.
Here's what'll make things different is like having kids or watching it with kids. That will make you think differently about the movies you're watching. It absolutely does. What you're watching and how you enjoy it or how you take it in, I really think is a reflection of those around you. When you have kids or a significant other, you may react differently than if you were just watching it by yourself. I think that's the thing that, like, when you sit there with a kid, go find a kid. Don't take one. Just go find a kid in your family or somebody like that, and sit with them and watch a movie. And then, again, you may think a little bit differently about it. Sometimes Disney movies, and especially Pixar movies, will have 2 levels. Ben and I talked a little bit about that in Phineas and Ferb. There was a scene where the Empire has like an administrative building, and there are people running through the administrative building, and they run around a corner, and there's this guy, and he's watching, or he's got a screen up, and it has like a swimsuit layout on it, and he says, "I swear it was for work." Now, little kids don't really respond to that, right? So that absolutely is a joke that's made to go above their heads. But it's amazing what things that kids will take in as they watch it. So that's just something that I've found over time. So
one thing I want to add for the content warning system is it bugs me a little bit that they don't have this as icons in the UI. Like, this is something where you have to go and, like, for example, with Hunchback, the tobacco warning is not in the short description. You have to go and click on the details, and it's at the very bottom of the details to see that contains tobacco use. I honestly think that it might make more sense if they just had, like, some top-level icons that's, like, just like a smoking symbol, or like, I don't know what iconography you'd come up with for may contain racism, but it's like things like that where like you could tell very quickly when you pull it up. It's like, okay, this has this. I know what this is. Oh, I know exactly what that's referring to, and solves the problem without you having to go and dig.
Yeah,
because it definitely feels like effort to try and figure it out right now.
Yeah, agreed. Moving on, I want to talk about a little bit about bonus content. I feel like Disney Plus does this better than Hulu, better than Netflix at this point, because as you can tell behind me, I have a lot of DVDs. Kids, look it up. So I have I have DVDs and Blu-rays, and part of the reason that I loved them and fell in love with them instantly was how much data they could hold and how many cool things they would put on them. The idea that you could have multiple tracks of director's commentary, or that you could have behind-the-scenes footage or deleted scenes or anything like that is a really cool thing. And so I think Disney Plus has done a great job of taking the bonus content and putting that on there. An example of this is if you watch Who Framed Roger Rabbit, the Roger Rabbit cartoon shorts are in the bonus content. That's something when Jill and I did a review for Deep in the Plus, she talked about the fact that that was her pick of the week, is these movies or these shorts, and that's where you would find them. So I think it's really cool when they add the bonus features in there. But again, that's me and my addiction to like going beyond the movie and seeing what other things are out there. So, Eric, have you found some hidden gems when you've been doing that?
So it's funny because that's exactly why I fell in love with DVDs and Blu-rays. Just the fact that there's so much that you can do besides watching the movie, and yeah, there's so many good things just in there. What was it? I want to say Aladdin has a lot of bonus features. I actually have Disney Plus up right here, but I forgot what it was, and something had a lot of good things, and I was like, this is great. For someone like me that just likes to see stuff like this. Sorry, I'm pulling it up.
Was it the bonus content from the Aladdin video game? Because I remember they had some making of stuff.
Yeah, they have that, and then even the Aladdin. Sorry, it was the live action Aladdin, and it has like the Aladdin trailer. It has just the genie portion of A Friend Like Me. It also has just behind the scenes of how they made the movie, bloopers, deleted scenes that aren't even in the movie. Stuff like that is something that I really enjoy, and I'm glad that Disney Plus has it in their streaming service.
Yeah, Doug was just saying in chat that the bonus content can be hit or miss, and that's true. I like the fact that they've made the effort, though, and something
Right.
that is like trash for me, maybe someone else's treasure, and vice versa. There was a Muppet movie called Muppets from Space, and it is not Disney, but why are you doing that? Why are you making that noise?
I remember that movie. I saw that in theaters. That was something.
Well, for me, it was a big thing because Pepe was in it, and I love Pepe. Okay,
Oh, that's
so when you do watch that, they had one that was a bonus feature that was kind of Mystery Science Theater 3000, where you could see the shadows of the Muppets at the bottom. So again, a lot of that, and they would talk over the movie as you go along. So maybe you'd like that version better.
Oh no, I would. Oh no, I have to watch that tonight. Oh my gosh.
So again, bonus features to me are huge, a huge part of that whole process. So, any other thoughts on extra bonus content and that before we move on? Cool. All right, so let me talk about this, and I'm not sure how you guys feel about this, so I want to put that out there. So there are tons of different content types on Disney+. There are shorts, movies, shows, specials, scripted and unscripted. There's current content, there's legacy content, and there's originals, right? So, and then it's Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, National Geographic, Muppets, ABC, and Disney Channel stuff on there. So when you look at the starting graphic for all of the promotional materials for Disney Plus, it has Disney, Star Wars, Pixar, Marvel, and Nat Geo.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the right, are those the right five? I get that Nat Geo was a part of the Fox, the Fox purchase. But before I give my opinion, I can see Ben, you're nodding your head really fast. What are you thinking?
Where is the classic stuff? There's no quick and easy way to dive into the classics. Like you mentioned that it's a category that exists. Why isn't that front and center? Especially on launch day, they're putting Nat Geo up there, but they're not letting me go to Steamboat Willie in 2 clicks. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Eric?
No, I totally agree. It's very weird that, like, for Disney itself is not only the animated movies, but it's the live action, the originals that they have in that category. There's so many things that they just put into one thing that I feel like they could have spread it out just a little bit more. And it would have been easier to find things without actually, like, searching, I guess.
Yeah. So, when it comes to those, and I think that when we were talking about the interface, and I think, Katie, maybe you said this, you were talking about how, making pockets of areas where you can search for things, and there's one for Muppets, and you click on that, and you can find that. But do you think that maybe there should have been one for Fox content? I mean, we do have a lot of Fox content now. Should that have been separated out? And maybe the argument is, well, it shouldn't be because it's different. But why would that be different than Marvel or Star Wars? Like, because it's kind of its own block. What do you think about that?
I think Fox should definitely have a separate indicator on Disney Plus, only because while it is Disney now, people who want to watch movies from Fox want to see a spot where it's like, this is non-Disney stuff I haven't seen in a while and I have access to now. I feel like that would have been such a helpful thing to have when the app first launched, especially because their merge with Fox was like such a big contributor. It was, well, we're merging with Fox, we're going to have all this content, and then we get Nat Geo instead of a Fox. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I agree. I think there should have been something.
You're right. I mean, that was the thing that started it all, or like kind of made the big announcement, was that Disney had to have this IP because they were doing Disney, the Disney streaming service, and so they went and spent billions on Fox content. And so I want to play a game with you guys on the panel, with Eric and with Katie, and Ben gets to sit out this one, and he's so happy he does. So you guys have two pieces of paper. I want you to take one with red and write Fox on it, and the other one, and I want you to in the blue, and write Disney on it. And I'm going to ask you about a couple of movies that are on Disney Plus, and I want you to tell me if you know the difference between whether it's Fox or whether it's Disney. Okay?
And those of you in the chat should play along. Open up two notepads for yourself and just write them down while you're going.
Absolutely. In chat, we would love to have you guys play along. So so here's the thing. It's like when we play games, like Disney Heads Up, there's a place where you can have, like, you put up, like Sully, and you have to say, well, this is the Pixar movie. I know which ones are Pixar. I think we're all huge Disney fans. We know. I mean, Eric obviously knows which ones are Pixar and which ones are Disney. But there are people who still think that, like, Ice Age is probably Disney.
Yep.
And it being there on Disney Plus and not like defined separately makes you feel like, okay, well, now there's going to be even more confusion. Is that a good thing? Because it's all owned by Disney, but is it a bad thing because it's not like it's being judged against the rest of the Disney, or with the rest of the Disney movies, I would assume. So, all right, so you guys ready? All right, here's the first one. So you're going to hold it up. Journey to the Center of the Earth.
Oh, okay. Hold on. We're doing it like
that. Which one?
Disney there is a movie on Disney Plus, Journey to the Center of the Earth.
I think it's... I'm scared. Also, I haven't wrote on paper. I think it's Disney. I think it is. The one I've seen is Disney, I believe.
Sorry.
It's Fox.
Yeah.
Off to a rough start.
Chat's getting it right.
Is that not Journey to the Center of the Earth? And again, Tom will kill me for not knowing this off the top of my head, but that is an attraction in Tokyo, correct? Is there not
it is.
a Journey to the Center of the Earth, right? So it's funny to me, like, you would think that would be a Disney movie. All right, ready for the second one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Rookie of the Year, Fox or Disney?
Oh my gosh, I'm doing terribly.
No, you're right, Katie. Rookie of the Year is actually a Fox movie.
Okay.
Oh man!
Because there's another one with a kid in a baseball uniform called A Kid in King Arthur's Court.
I know that one.
And that's Disney. So, but like the visuals are kind of very similar because the local.
Rookie of the Year one with Dennis Quaid?
No, that's the Rookie, I believe. Yeah, Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, that's not confusing at all. No.
I'm just saying. Okay, you ready for the next one?
Yeah.
Miracle at Midnight, Disney or Fox?
I don't even think I've ever seen that. Yeah, I'm gonna.
Yeah, it's a Disney movie. So again, kind of fun, right? Okay.
This is great.
So, all right, here's the next one. Flicka. Is that a Disney or a Fox movie? Flicka. It's a movie about a horse.
No, I'm switching.
You got to stop looking at Eric. You got to stop.
I know. Eric, we're
I've been wrong
right.
the whole time.
It is Fox. It is Fox. You're right.
Fox.
Okay, The Sound of Music. Disney or Fox?
Oh.
Now I see. Are you cheating off of her paper now? What's going on?
We have to
only
rate them
fair.
at the same time.
No,
I'm not
okay,
sure.
so that is Fox. Fun
Okay.
story, and you know, Christina Aguilera, amazing singer. She was at D23 this past year, and she received Disney Legend status. And she was trying to, I think, relate to the crowd, and she said that her favorite Disney movie of all time, or Disney movie growing up, was The Sound of Music. And I just happened to be sitting next to Tom Corliss, and we kind of looked at each other like, what? Like, they own it now, but when you were growing up, that was not a Disney movie. And again, I don't think that's too much of a reach to know that, like, Sound of Music is Fox and Disney had Mary Poppins. That's not too weird to know that that's not one, right?
The entirety of chat got that one right, and people are saying that one's not hard. I thought this was a trick question.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, there's going to be a trick question.
I'm sure.
All right, so Miracle on 34th Street.
The old one? What
The one
year?
Is there more than one?
There's only one on Disney Plus.
Oh, so I'm gonna go with this one.
No, it's Fox. Yeah, and as a matter of fact, 20th Century Fox, I looked it up, and there are several versions of A Miracle on 34th Street, but 20th Century Fox owns the rights to it, even whoever distributed it. But the very first one, the Natalie Wood version, is on Disney Plus. But that was the first thing that jumped out at me when we went down this path. Is like when I had that around Christmas, and I pulled it up and looked at it, I thought they're not showing that this is the Fox version. They're kind of passing it off as their own. Which again, it is. They bought it. They spent a lot of money on it. They could have it. I just still feel like there's an argument to be made to separate them into categories. You all ready for the next one?
Yes.
No.
Ruby Bridges.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, it's Disney. Okay. Millions.
Millions?
Millions?
Millions. Getting a lot of good ideas for Deep in the Plus. That is Fox, yes.
Okay.
Thumbelina. Yep. See, you guys knew that one.
I would've gotten it wrong.
That one. Dr. Dolittle with Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy?
It's Fox.
Oh!
Really?
That's Disney. That's easy. Okay, one more. Y'all ready?
Okay. Yes.
Swiss Family Robinson.
Wait, this is a trick, isn't it? It is.
I feel like
Is
it's a
it?
trick.
100%.
I feel like it's a
Disney.
trick.
It's just a question, Claire. Answer the question. Okay, so you are right, and also there are two versions on there now. One was Fox and one is Disney. So if you search Swiss Family Robinson, so that one you could not get wrong. So it was a trick question, but not really. So thank you guys for playing that game with me. Hopefully you guys had a little bit of fun playing it. Hopefully you had fun playing it in the chat. So that just, again, to me, I feel like that they spent so much money on Fox, they should be bragging and have their own section and say, look at all this Fox content. You got Home Alone, you got Sound of Music, you got some real, like, big time movies that they bought from Fox. So I feel like that should be there instead of it being, Jeff Goldblum standing there on the cover, of Disney Plus. It should be, Kevin going like this, or I don't know, something else. Yeah. Because there's a lot of good content there, and I do think they should highlight it better.
I didn't even know they had Home Alone.
Yeah.
Someone in chat threw out a good one that we could have done was Anastasia. A lot of people think that's a Disney movie. Yep.
I believe that was Don Bluth.
I think so.
Yeah. So like a lot of that stuff, like after Don Bluth left and did American Tail and All the Dogs Go to Heaven and The Land Before Time and all those movies, they did have a little bit of that Disney look to them. So I definitely think that Anastasia has that Disney look to it. It is it's like a Disney princess kind of a vibe to that movie. So. And it just goes to show they kind of set that pattern with Little Mermaid and the resurgence of animation in 1989. So let me go then and talk about National Geographic a little bit and ask you then the question is, how much of this content are you watching? Like, how much National Geographic do you watch on Disney Plus? And Katie, something makes me think you watch a little bit more than the rest of us.
I do, and actually, we won't get into it because I think it's for later, but I spend a lot of time, their newer stuff has actually been pretty good, but as a kid, I would always go see, remember when the Panda movie came out, and it was like a big deal, I saw it in theaters, so it was like kind of exciting to look back and be like, oh, all of this content has been coming out for years, it's like very interesting to see it all in one place. But one that was really good was the Mars SpaceX one. Was pretty interesting.
Okay.
So if you haven't seen that, that's a good one to check out in the National Geographic.
I didn't know
section.
they had
that. What about
cool.
Eric? Have you watched the Jeff Goldblum show?
Yeah. So I was actually going to say, for National Geographic, I've seen The World According to Jeff Goldblum, and I've seen Brain Games.
I was going to ask about Brain Games.
That's a good one.
Yep, I love both of those. That's literally the only things that I've been watching.
And it kind of harkens back to the old like Walt Disney like True Life Adventures, right? I mean, when you look at it, and when they were making this Fox purchase, that's one of those things that I looked at and said, "This is brilliant. Like Disney should own this because this is kind of like the beginnings of like Walt Disney and again True Life Adventures and nature and all those things." So I think there is a place for it. I just am not consuming that content, and maybe part of it is that I just prefer like a scripted movie or TV show over a nature one. I don't know. I don't usually get into that kind of stuff, and that's just a personal preference. But it's one of those things that I certainly don't hear people talking about a lot. Like, oh my gosh, thank goodness I have Disney Plus so that I can watch all of those nature movies. Not something that people say. So again, I feel like we've got. It's a major section of how they've divided up Disney Plus, but it's not, to me, it shouldn't be there. I think it should be Fox or something else. I mean, there's a ton of Muppet content. There's more coming, hopefully.
This summer.
And they could have, like you said, they could have divided classics and animation for Disney because there's so much Disney that's out there. So, next thing we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about the originals that dropped with Disney Plus and the ones that are on there now. But before we do that, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we will be right back. Don't go anywhere. Hang out with us.
Are you still not able to let go of the great movie ride? Can you not even watch a movie featured in the attraction on TCM anymore because it will leave you in tears?
Sing it in the rain. Just sing it in the rain.
Then you need great grief counseling. I'm Dr. Stuart Dio, and I have rehabilitated many movie writers so they can continue on with their lives.
No, you don't, Mr. Chapek! Mr. Chapek, no, you don't! Bang! Shot him.
Our rehabilitation program is intense, so don't expect to be cured with just a spoonful of sugar. We'll take several steps in time to get you back to your normal life. Some of the activities in our program include forcing patients to watch great modern movies.
These are all just Marvel movies. But everyone's in everyone else's movies, and I don't understand whose movie this is. Also, am I supposed to like Captain Marvel? She's kind of mean. I'm so confused!
Watching all of the new Mickey Mouse cartoons.
Who made these? Who made these Ren and Stimpy ripoffs? Was it you?
Riding Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway with people who actually like it.
It's so cute, you guys!
It can't possibly get any worse.
Nothing can stop us now. I'll tell you how we're gonna make it happen. Let's take a...
It's Weiss.
If you think those methods are good, well, you ain't heard nothing yet. So, follow the yellow brick road to rehabilitation, or you might live to regret it. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon, or for the rest of your life.
Stella!
Results may vary.
Hello, gorgeous.
Let's get you back inside.
What is this, Joyzy?
Four panelists, 30 minutes, 1 week in Disney Parks news. This is Parks Center. On Parks Center, the panel and I cover the top 7... 7? Yeah, 7 Disney Parks stories of the past week. From attraction news to transportation scandals to new food and merchandise, we'll cover it all in 30 minutes or less. You can watch us stream live every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. at WDWNtunes.com, watch episodes on demand at youtube.com/WDWNT, or subscribe to the audio version of the show on your favorite podcast app. And of course, this show and every other show on WDWNT Live is brought to you by WIGS, the WDWNT Interglobe Society. If you haven't checked it out yet, you can head on over to patreon.com/WDWNT. And for as little as $2 a month, you can help support this show and every other show that we put out. Get access to a whole bunch of post shows for shows like Parks Center and WDW News Tonight, and access to high-quality scans of some older and very interesting Disney documents that we've been digging up from our archives. Again, that's patreon.com/WDWNT.
It's a jazzy tune, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Thank you guys again so much for sticking with us tonight, and we appreciate all your support. WIGS is definitely a huge part of what keeps WDWNT going. Super Chat, same thing. Any way you guys show your support is huge, and we give you big thanks for that. One of the things I also want to mention about WIGS is that Jill Diffendahl handles a lot of our WIGS, our WIGS, I guess, correspondence, and basically takes care of our WIGS. And today is her birthday, so I wish I could tell you exactly how old she is, but Diffendahls do not age. No, I'm just kidding. But so very happy birthday to Jill Diffendahl, and
Happy birthday,
thank you.
Joe.
Yeah, happy birthday, Joe.
Let's get into content now. Let's talk a little bit about, we've kind of jumped around it a little bit and talking about the interface, but let's talk about the originals. So they have the movies that they dropped, the scripted shows, and the unscripted shows when they came in. And I assume, like most of us, we were all going to get Disney Plus, right? I mean, there was no question that the four of us are huge Disney fans and we were going to get Disney Plus. However, was there one of the originals that stood out to you big time? And I assume we're all on the same page as to what that would have been. But let's start with Eric. And he's nodding his head. Okay, what was the original that you were most excited about that was going to drop when it first came out?
So the funny thing is, I'm not that into Star Wars. I really am not. Mandalorian wasn't even. Mandalorian wasn't even a thing for me. Like, I still haven't watched. I've watched maybe like one episode while my roommates were watching it, but other than that, nothing. So I was really excited. Obviously for me, for everything Pixar. Pixar in real life was a big one that I was really into. I have a friend. That blogs about Pixar. So we were talking about it when they shot that in New York. There was pictures coming in and stuff like that. So we were trying to figure out what that was back then when they even shot that. So Pixar in real life was a big one. Forky Ask a Question was another one. I ended up doing reviews about that for the website, so you guys can find that at WDWNT.com. I'm still waiting for Monsters at Work. So yeah, those were actually like the things that came out first. Those were actually the things that I was most excited about.
All right, cool. That's we're gonna have to have a separate conversation offline about your Star Wars issues and your problems, because that's a bigger problem. So, Kate, what about you?
I mean, I was excited for the Imagineering story. Of course, I think everyone was. It was a big hook. But personally, I am a big live action, like original Walt Disney Studios films. I was so excited to watch Babes in Toyland. I remember I got the subscription at D23. I was like, oh, I'm set. This is great. What am I going to watch? It has to be good, the first thing. And I love Annette. I was like, oh, finally some Annette content. I have to watch Babes in Toyland. So that was the first thing.
So it wasn't an original that drew you to it. It was the legacy content that drew you to Disney Plus.
Yeah. And
I mean,
the
Imagineering story, but...
Yeah. The one thing I was also really looking forward to, I don't know if it's even still a thing, was they were going to do a Jim Henson's like alien talk show.
Oh yeah!
Do you remember this?
Oh,
and I was
God.
so excited. It's what finally made me do it. I was like, I'll just wait till it comes out. I'll get it. But they were talking about it at D23, so I was like, I have to see this. I will get the 3-year thing, whatever. And now it's not there, so it's kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
All right, Ben, what about you?
So the thing that really brought me in was the Imagineering story and all the behind the scenes content, and a lot of the classic stuff too. I was so pessimistic on The Mandalorian. Like, I was expecting it to be a garbage fire. Disney was milking the franchise. There was no way this was going to be any good. This was going to be slapped together. It was going to be just a mishmash mess. And then I sat down and watched it with my girlfriend, and we marathoned the Baby Yoda show in about 4 days. He's like, yeah, it's the Mandalorian. We don't care. It's the Baby Yoda show starring Baby Yoda. There happens to be a Mandalorian in there too, but that's not the point. It was terrific. It was so well done. It was so well executed. It honestly restored my hope for what Disney's going to be able to do with the Star Wars franchise as a whole going forward. Because I was very afraid that they were going to try and, because they had all those Solo movies starting with Solo. That they were going to be putting out, like they were going to make a Yoda movie, they were going to make an Obi-Wan movie, and it's just like, this seems like they're just scraping the barrel for whatever they can find. And then Mandalorian's like, no, we're not scraping, we're making new stuff, and it's good, and you're going to like it. Like, okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Jon Favreau was in charge of this. I mean, I was on board from the beginning, and I almost hate to say that Mandalorian is what sold me into it, because it's almost like too on the nose, right? Like, I wanted it to be something else that would be, exciting about it. I was going to get this anyway, but I agree. Mandalorian is just a wonderful show, and I can't wait to watch it again. I can't wait for season 2 to come out. I mean, it's a really well done show. And I was a huge Boba Fett fan when I was a kid. Like, that was my guy. And so the idea that the Mandalorian is carrying on that, I mean, I get the feels from that automatically. And then the Baby Yoda thing was just icing on the cake and was fantastic. So I was excited about that too. As far as the originals go, though, and Katie was talking a little bit about D23, they did a huge rollout. And Katie, did you go to that panel at D23 for Disney Plus?
No, I walked by. I considered it. But I was like, what else? Like, they're going to have Disney stuff. Okay, I'm going to go do something. But I wish I would have gone now. I feel like I would have been more educated on what was going to be offered when I first started streaming it.
Yeah.
Did you go to it?
I did. As a matter of fact, I went to it with a Mr. Tom Corliss, and we went to it, and I honestly thought it was going to be an easy one to get into, that people wouldn't really be into it yet. Obviously, at D23, the live-action animation panel, which they combined into one this year, was the big ticket, and I had to sleep overnight in the basement of the convention center to get into that one.
The worst.
The Disney Legends is always a good panel, but I really thought the Disney Plus one was going to be an easy one to get into, and we were like the last ones to get in to that panel, and I missed the High School Musical, the series intro, which a lot of people have been. Don't hold your to the end on that one. But yeah. So when we did it, it was hosted by Yvette Nicole Brown, because she plays Aunt Sarah in the live action Lady and the Tramp. So they rolled out a lot of stuff when we were there, and I was thinking about it when Eric was talking about Monsters at Work. That was one of the things that they rolled out, and a lot of things that they're working on. But when they rolled out like the original Lady and the Tramp movie or the remake, it looked like it was going to be really good. When they rolled out Timothy Failure, it looked like it was going to be really good. And so I don't know if it's something they pump into the air while you're there, or if it's like but a lot of the things that seemed like they were going to be big to me kind of missed. I think that it took us a long time, and it was actually the animated Lady and the Tramp, watching that for an episode of Deep in the Plus, that got me finally a ticket inside of my own house to watch that with my family, the live action version, because no one wanted to see it. It was like, pass. So some of the stuff that landed originals was not I think that they looked better in the beginning than they actually ended up being. I don't know a ton of people who watched all of the Jeff Goldblum content. I loved The Imagineering Story. That one I've watched 3 times through. I can't get enough of that. Mandalorian was great. Noelle, and I'm going to go to Eric on Noelle because you did a review of it for the original Plus Party. Did that end up to be?
So yeah, like I'm a huge Christmas fan. I'm a huge Christmas movie fan. So honestly, just the idea of Santa Claus having a family and having, just that world building. I'm a huge fan of all 3 Santa Claus movies. So I just love that, and I think they did a really good job with picking the actors for it. It was like a perfect cast for that particular type of movie. I think that sometimes it didn't land, like their jokes and how they were portrayed, especially like Nick, which is the older brother. Really didn't like him that much, but overall, I think the movie did land well for me personally. But again, I do love that world building for the Christmas movies and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that in the chat's talking about the world according to Jeff Goldblum. I thought the first show was okay. I wish they had started with something a little bit stronger. I think the one out of the gate was the sneakers.
Shoes. Mm-hmm.
The shoes.
Yeah, the sneakers, yeah.
I was really looking forward to the tattoo and some of that kind of stuff. So I'm definitely going to go back and watch that stuff, but I couldn't get... I mean, again, it goes back to you react a lot of times with the people who you're watching a show with, and I couldn't get anybody in my family to go, oh yeah, let's watch another one, because the first one that they thought was a little bit of a drag. And speaking of which, Pixar in real life, I know you said you're a fan, and I kind of like the idea of it, but I know I know it got panned on our blog, and I know that when I try to make my kids watch it, they literally would get up and leave the room because it's just too cringy for them to handle. Merida, my son literally got up and walked away and said, "Why would anybody do that?" So
yeah. No, there's different episodes that I think land very well. Episode 7, which is the Carl and the Russell episode, I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed having this little kid dressed up as Russell, being Russell, trying to, get his friendship badge and trying to get, things like that, and having people interact with him. I thought that was cute. I thought that was very something Russell would do. But yes, the Merida episode, no, I hate that. I didn't, just like your son, it was like, why would they do this? She doesn't even look good as Merida. That actress. It was just a lot of things that I was like, there's some Meridas in the parks that look better than what they did here. So yeah, no, it's just very on and off. And I also think the first episode, which is the Inside Out episode, should not have been the first episode. That was not, that was a really bad episode to start on, because that just didn't set the bar at all of what this could be. And the other thing that annoys me is that it comes out once a month, so that also really annoys me.
So around the horn, thumbs up or thumbs down? Forky asked a question.
Forky asked a question? Yeah. It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I like it.
Right.
I like it better than the Pixar
Okay.
stuff.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Oh, okay. So the bar again, pretty low. But like, okay, so let's talk about like the stuff that's unscripted, right, or theoretically unscripted, like Encore. That was another thing that they came out of the gate with, talking about huge. Eric's giving it a thumbs up. I watched one episode. I thought it was okay. I thought it was good. It just didn't draw me in to watch the rest of it. Same thing with like, there are a lot of like the competition shows, like the Be Our Chef, the family cooking competition show, and there's also the one about like the wood shop, and I don't remember the name of that. Like shop class.
Shop class, yeah.
That I haven't even watched that one. So they are putting out content, and it's good. There should be content for everyone, and they should be putting out a lot of content because they want to keep subscribers up. We're not going to stop, and especially Katie and I, who both like signed up for 3 years, we're kind of not going to, we've already paid for our 3 years. We're not going to jump. Yeah. But I mean, that's definitely something that is, that they've got to keep new content coming. Mandalorian's going to come, but it's not going to come till the fall. So the reality or the unscripted stuff, I feel like there's kind of two categories for me. There's like the reality type show, and there's the documentary stuff. It's separate to me. It's the documentary stuff I think is great. Prop culture I think is great. The Disney Gallery I think is great, and also the Imagineering Story we've all talked about and raved about. And I think the only bad thing about Imagineering Story is there going to be more, because it feels like they told the story from beginning to end. It feels kind of done. Yeah. One Day at Disney again was pretty good. Yeah. What do you guys think about Disney Insider though? I'm gonna start with Katie. Have you watched that?
I have not watched that at all.
Okay. So
sorry, bad one to start with.
Bad idea. Has anybody watched it other than me? Okay, so here's the thing about it is it reminds me of stuff they used to do on the Disney Channel. Like they would have these like little shows or interstitials on the Disney Channel where they would go behind the scenes at Walt Disney World and stuff like that back in the day, and I love that kind of stuff. And it's kind of cool to me, and it feels like, and Eric, you tell me, like, doesn't it feel a little bit like an extension of One Day at Disney?
Yes, very much so. There was things at One Day at Disney that me and my roommate were like, oh, I wish they would do, go more into this or more into that. And even the One Day at Disney shorts, which we watched a couple, aren't necessarily the ones that were in that like special, like the hour-long special. But yeah, it's very different. And I think that Disney Insider is more towards like the younger viewers, which is kind of weird to think of. But I think it's more of the lines like Disney Channel did have like movie surfers and stuff like that, and it would go behind the scenes like you said. So yeah, no, I feel like it is. It's very much the same but different. Yeah.
Okay. Well, so again, like scripted versus non-scripted, I think I've got Ben sidetracked on something here, because the chat is saying that the bingo card might have been pulled due to copyright.
I think we're getting cross threads. It looks like it's still up for me.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah. No, I'll repost that for folks in case they're curious. But I think the question was about the stream we had last night. But we're not going to dig into that.
My bad. Okay, so what I would say about the bingo is thank you guys for playing along, and yes, if it was in the commercial, it counts. And also, by the way, Eric and Katie have no idea about what's on that bingo card, so anything that they say is completely random. So
Maria, I don't know, just in case. Go someone.
You son of a. Anyway. So anyway, back to the original stuff. So we know what's out there, and we've talked about like the things we like and the things we don't like. So let me ask you guys, starting again with Eric, what are the things that you're looking forward to coming the most?
The most. Oh man. I think everything. Which is, you're telling me to pick one, but everything that's going to have to do with Marvel, with the MCU, I'm really, really excited just for everything. WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier, everything else like She-Hulk, Moon Knight, what else? Ms. Marvel's coming out. Just a lot of things that are going to be able to open up the MCU world a little bit more. That's a world that I love being in. So I'm really excited for just them to be able to just blow it up a little bit more, and being able to spend time. Well, as of right now, we actually don't know how long the episodes are going to be, but hopefully be able to spend more time with these characters and have longer stories, kind of like The Mandalorian with the Star Wars fans.
Yeah, and the thing about the Marvel stuff is it was one of the things that they touted from the beginning, and it was going to be a year away. I mean, they talked about it from day one about all the cool Marvel things and how they were going to integrate into the MCU, and that was before, before the pandemic. So when, and that's probably going to be pushed off even further at this point, I would assume, because they had to stop filming the Winter Soldier, Falcon and the Winter Soldier because of COVID. So I feel like that was one of the things that they really kind of sold from the beginning. There's going to be all this Marvel content, and there's going to be Star Wars content. But it was like they talked about, at the D23 thing that I went to again, one of the things they showed was like a Muppets, sort of an interstitial Muppet show that would be sort of like a Forky Asked the Question, but Muppets, which is very exciting, although there was that Josh Gad show that was supposed to be put out there that apparently got canceled that was going to be a Muppet show for Disney Plus. So they have a ton of IP that they could do, but there's also been so many rumors, including the new one about not a rumor, but the new story about National Treasure being a Disney Plus show. So I'm really excited about a lot of that stuff. But let me go to Katie and ask you, what is the stuff you're most excited about?
I honestly, going into Disney Plus, I was like a mediocre Star Wars fan. Sorry, Rob. I was like, I like the original trilogy. Like, that's
what
it.
Have I done? Oh my gosh.
Mandalorian really hooked me. Mandalorian got me. I then went on a Star Wars binge. I watched everything I could. So that show, I mean, not all of it being good, but Mandalorian gave me hope. So really looking forward to season 2. A New Hope, yes.
Then one of us was going to say it, so thank goodness it was you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Definitely looking forward to Mandalorian. And if they ever do that weird Jim Henson alien talk show, let me know. I would love to see it. And I'm waiting for... Are they going to put the Muppet episodes on? The original Muppet episodes? That would be cool to have on one day.
Oh, well, that's a whole can of worms.
Yeah, Muppets in general, there's a lot of issues because there's the original Muppet Show and then there's Muppets Tonight. I loved Muppets Tonight. I thought that was a fun show. That was the introduction to me for Pepe. And so I wish they would... And Prince was on it. I'm a huge Prince fan. So that, to me, I would love to see those episodes be available for shows are out. The one we do have is The Muppets, and it's at least...
Just okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's The Office.
Yeah. So, Ben, how about you?
Gosh, I don't know. Like, I guess, like, the biggest thing I've got to say, honestly, at this point is just, like, that I would love to see the Muppets, like, just, I want the Muppet Show. I understand that there's a lot of legal problems with getting the Muppet Show up on there because of all of the songs and stuff that they use. They have to relicense all the music. And then they also, I think they might have to talk to the individual guest stars of each episode and be like, hey, are you okay with us doing this? So it's just a mess of can of worms to get that up there. Yeah. But at the same time, it is such a good show. If they could put that up there, they would they would earn like double dividends on getting that show put up, in my opinion, because not only would people come to watch that show, but also people would watch that show that might not have known about how good the Muppets are and will like then fall in love with them. And now this IP has gained value simply because you re-released old content. I agree with
hope. You.
Well,
people don't know the real Muppets.
Yeah.
At the back end of the show, we'll talk a little bit more, obviously, about like pre-existing legacy content. But as far as the originals that are coming up, I still think, obviously, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I'm very excited about Mandalorian Season 2, but also the Obi-Wan show and then the Rogue One show that's coming too. So I love that kind of stuff. I know that Clone Wars has ended, and I've read some things online where people are like, oh, well, now that Clone Wars has ended, I'm going to leave Disney Plus. There's so much content from my perspective on there for everyone. So I would, I don't know that I'm surprised that people came for just one show is what I'm saying. But again, there was a huge following for Clone Wars, and the fact that they put out one more season was clearly a big deal. So I hope that they have more animated coming. for when it comes to Star Wars. But I definitely think the Marvel stuff, What If looks like it's going to be great. And the idea that they could use the original Marvel actors and be able to tell these stories again, because, you know, even as those Marvel actors age, they can still bring them back in animated form. The Peggy Carter thing that, you know, with like the Captain America. Oh my gosh, there were already people cosplaying that at D23, which I thought was fantastic. So, you know, and again, you mentioned earlier, Eric, you were talking about Monsters at Work. That looks like it's going to be good. I love the thought of another look into that world. So here's a question that I have for you then, is that a lot of this content that's being made, and I think that there's so many things they could do. Do you think that this is the end of direct to video, because they would put everything on Disney Plus? And also, do you think this is going to limit new content coming to like the Disney Channel or ABC?
Wow. Yeah. I honestly, now that you say it, yeah, I can definitely see them just doing it for Disney Plus. Because they don't have to go the whole route of like selling DVDs or anything like that. But the sad thing is, like, I personally love Disney Channel, like the Disney Channel shows, and I haven't had cable for a little bit, but with Disney Plus, I've been able to go back to see some shows that, you know, like my dad's best friend's daughter has been watching, and she talks to me a lot about movies and TV shows and stuff, and like the content is there for some of those Disney Channel shows, and it kind of sucks that there might not be, you know, like that kind of thing. And Disney Channel original movies is a big one as well. But my thing is, if things on Disney Plus can get a bigger budget than those type of shows or those type of movies or anything like that, then I'm okay with it. And if we can get people behind the scenes and draw them with the whole appeal of being on Disney Plus, like having your show or having your movie be on Disney Plus, I think is a plus, no pun intended.
No, you intended that plus, don't lie. So when you know, when we talk about like Disney Channel and ABC shows, like the reboot of Lizzie McGuire in a non-Disney Plus world probably should have gone to Disney Channel, right? The same way that Girl Meets World did. So yet that was one they were going to bring out and put onto Disney Plus. And I wonder if it would have had a larger production budget than it would have had if it had been on Disney Channel. Now, obviously, there have been some issues with it. That one and the Love, Simon TV show that were supposed to come out. So, yeah. So, I mean, I really feel like that there has to be like some kind of a litmus test where they sit down and make sure that there's enough stuff for all the different channels that they have, and then what should come out where. But I really feel like that there's, you know, that like we're going to be talking about, I don't know if it's happened already or not, but on WDWNT Live, I don't think it has, the direct-to-DVD sequels that came out, like Lion King 1.5 and Lady and the Tramp 2, Scamp's Adventure, Scamp's London Adventure. And so when, you know, these things were kind of like, you know, for us growing up, they were a big deal. Doesn't mean that they can't still be a big deal on Disney Plus, but I wonder if we'd be as motivated to create that stuff now. You know, and there's a lot of things that go into it. And as a matter of fact, Artemis Fowl, great example of a movie that they created for the movie theaters, and because you know, of people not going to the movies, they decided to move that one to Disney Plus, which is weird to me, but also seems to make too much sense if you think about it, because everybody was already expecting that movie to be kind of bad, not bad, but not good, not great. So I think that was sort of a throwaway for them, and they changed direction. So again, I wonder what the litmus test is behind the scenes on that. So
and
anyway,
actually, Rob, now that you mentioned the Lizzie McGuire show, you know, that is one of those things that was a Disney Channel original show, and then bringing it back kind of thing. I feel they're trying to grab, you know, like my generation of those people that watched Lizzie McGuire that now have a job, now have Disney Plus and are able to just watch it there instead of, you know, watching it on Disney Channel. And I think, at least from all the articles that I have been reading about that show, that is something that Hilary Duff is kind of fighting for, because she does want more adult topics on that show because her character has grown up and is now an adult, kind of thing. So I feel like it is, like you said, like there is this balance that needs to be agreed on.
Yeah. Anything else about the originals before we move on that you guys want to talk about? Either stuff that's out now, stuff that's coming up, stuff that's been rumored, anything else that you can think of from the original content?
High School Musical, the series.
Oh,
yeah. So Ben, look, he keeps laughing. But
I
just
could
the
not
name.
watch it.
It is only the name. I promise you. It is there are too many colons. That's it.
But it's
That's the
no
whole
fun.
thing that makes me laugh every time.
It's High School, the musical, High School Musical, the musical, the series. But there was like High School Musical, the series, the special that they put out.
Yep.
Which was fantastic. I love that. But that was one, and Eric, you tell me what you think about it. But when it was coming out, I was eye rolling like they were about to fall out of my head about that show. And we watched it, and it was a pretty good show.
Yeah. No. So the funny thing is, we were doing segments on Disney Plus when we were signing up on different things to do different for reviews and stuff like that, and I contemplated for a while. I was like, should I sign up for that High School Musical, the musical series? Like, I love High School Musical. High School Musical literally came out. That third movie came out when I graduated, so it was very much just my High School Musical, my high school experience. But at the time, I felt like I wasn't the right person to review that show. And then I watched it, and I was like, "Oh, I'm dumb. I love this. I really do. I loved the show, and I loved how they were able to find actors and actresses, like young actors and actresses, to play their version of Troy and Gabriella and everyone, and still have their own personality, but still yet reflect those characters that we know. But I will say, Ben, I'm with you. Because season 2, they're doing Beauty and the Beast, and it's still going to be called High School Musical, the musical, the series, season 2. What? So I'm a little confused on that.
Oh no!
So here's a hot take: is I feel like this is really more of a reboot of Glee than it is High School Musical.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh wow!
Because it feels so
Isn't
much.
that
like
a way to put it?
Yeah, I mean, High School Musical feels like it was like in a silo. It was basically a reboot of Grease, but this one is like a reboot of Glee. I mean, it just feels that way. It's a good show, though. Yeah. I mean, I have a daughter, a teenage daughter, so we have an excuse to watch it at the house. But I probably would watch it anyway. So.
And my roommates are just bored sometimes.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and you go to Disney Plus because what else are you going to do in a pandemic, right? I mean. Exactly.
Right.
So,
oh no, we watched this when it came out.
I'm trying to help here. So we're going to take another break, but when we come back, we are going to be talking about the legacy content that was on there, the deep catalog that's there, and talk about maybe a little what's missing and what's next. So stick around. Again, appreciate y'all being here.
My 4th Disney trip of 2020 was canceled. And my one-woman authorized travel agency isn't getting any business with this closure. Help me, Ganondola.
Was your 500th in a lifetime Disney vacation canceled? Are you being selfish during a world crisis and want restitution for your losses as a travel agent? Call 1-777-777-7777 for the law offices of Gon and Dola.
Hello, I'm Bud G. Gunn.
And I'm Roz Dola.
How dare the Walt Disney Company cancel your dream vacation? We say you make them pay for it.
We'll fight for you until you get a complimentary stay inside the Cinderella Castle Suite, because your trip cancellation is more important than anyone else's.
We may all be practicing social distancing, but why don't you try some money closening?
We'll even get you some extra fast passes.
It's going to be so busy when the parks reopen that you're going to need them.
Do you even believe what you're saying anymore?
Nope.
Gon and Dola also handle wrongful termination cases for CEOs appointed just before a global crisis where the former CEO knew it was coming. Call 1-777-777-7777 for you to get the justice you don't actually need right now.
Pressing Issues is the spin-off of the WDW News Today podcast segment as a long-form panel discussion in which some of the brightest minds of WDWNT analyze the biggest stories of the week and their impact on the Walt Disney Company, its parks, guests, and cast members. Join us every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, or afterward on the WDW News Today podcast feed.
I was muted too. Rob, you're muted.
Oh man! I thought I hit the button. Oh,
me too. Me too.
I was going for a perfect Park Center night here, and I
we came so close.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, welcome back, guys. Thank you so much again for being with us here tonight and talking about all things Disney Plus in honor of its almost 6-month anniversary. People celebrate that, right? A 6-month anniversary. That's a thing that people do.
I celebrate that. Yeah.
Yes.
So the next thing we want to talk about is the catalog itself. So and I may be it may have been a misunderstanding on my part but when the catalog was first announced, it was going to be they are fully opening up the vault of everything Disney, all things. They're going to release everything. And then when the first list came out, and I think we talked about it on Park Center, it was like 600 movies and TV shows, and I'm just like, wait, that's not everything, especially when you're talking about Fox, Disney, Nat Geo, Marvel, Star Wars, Muppets. There's a lot of content there. So that was a little bit disappointing to me. And then I started thinking about it, and I mentioned it earlier about somebody that said they were signing off because of Clone Wars being over. Things like Netflix, they rotate things in and out, and I always thought it was like a rights issue only, or it was a money issue about how much of the catalog they could have at one time, and sometimes it is. But I think it's about rotating stuff in to keep you subscribed, because I mean, we are diehard fans. I mean, I can't imagine Disney Plus existing and me not being a subscriber. I feel like everyone who knows me would flame me so hard for being a person without Disney Plus if that was the case. So it was a no-brainer for me when they did that D23 offer, especially because, again, I was with Tom Corliss. There was a pin involved, so we were definitely going to sign up for Disney Plus because you could get a pin. So that was just, that was just going to happen. But I was disappointed that it wasn't everything. And the stockholders meeting for Disney was actually in Raleigh this year, which is where I'm from. And so I went to the stockholders meeting, and somebody asked that question about the catalog. And one of the things that Bob Iger said, and I think they were specifically talking about Song of the South. And is that going to be on there? Because that would be everything, right? And talk about something that has depictions that are not of the time. That would be kind of a horrible thing to do, even though there's a big monolith in the Disney parks to Song of the South called Splash Mountain. We still don't have that movie and are not allowed to. I feel like they should part out maybe some of the animation and supply that, but it's just not going to see the light of day. But one of the other things that he said that I thought was interesting, and I don't know if this is true, but I'll assume it is because Bob Iger said it, is that some of the things were not going to be released because they weren't in good enough condition to be released. So maybe things that had never been remastered, things that were, maybe they were too cut up because of being aired on television. I don't know what the reasoning is for that. But one of the things that we talked about, and Alicia Kaiser and I talked about the computer wore tennis shoes on one episode of Deep in the Plus.
It was so good.
And we talked about that one because she looked at some movies that were in Deep in the Plus, and she said, these all have terrible titles. I want to pick one of these. And we watched it together. And so Computer Wore Tennis Shoes was one of them. But that's a special movie to me because it's part of a trilogy with Kurt Russell and the Dexter Riley trilogy. So I thought for a deep pick, I would pick one of the Dexter Riley trilogies, The World's Strongest Man. That's not on there. The Now You See and Now You Don't, which is I think the third one, which is about him becoming invisible. So the first one, he becomes a computer. The second one, he becomes strong. And the third one, he becomes invisible. The second one isn't on there, which is weird to me. And then there was a 1990s Kirk Cameron ABC channel reboot of Computer Wore Tennis Shoes, and I thought, that'll be a cool one to watch. That's not on there. So, there are a lot of things that feel like you own this. It would expand your catalog. Why don't you put this on there? So I definitely want to talk about what we think is missing from the catalog. But first I want to say, what are the things that that was most exciting to you to have that catalog open to you when you first log on to Disney Plus? And I'll start with Katie on that.
I think the obvious answer for what I was looking for, I was really hoping they would have the True Life Adventures that you mentioned earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Like Seal Island and The Living Desert. I was very much looking forward to those. But Simpsons was just they had everything. I was like, I have to. Like, there's got to be stuff I have not seen. So I dove deep into that the first few months. But it is one of the largest, everyone was like, oh, I have to get Disney Plus. They have all of The Simpsons. So that was probably what I analyzed the most at first.
Okay. And Eric?
So for me, it was honestly just the Disney animated movies. Just being able to literally go from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs and then just go on was something that intrigued me to be able to do. But also Disney Channel original movies. I wanted to go back to see some of those, and then just live action movies that I grew up on was something that I really, really did want to see. Some of them I was able to watch, some of them I can't, but I'm sure we'll talk about that.
Yeah. Okay. So Ben, what about you?
So, me personally, I don't have too terribly many, but I will speak on behalf of the chat because they've got a couple things in here. One, a lot of TV shows from the 50s and 60s, according to Doug Rosenthal, didn't survive because networks often taped over shows with other shows, and I definitely know that that's something that they've done and has cost us a lot of very classic TV shows and things like that. If I remember right, yeah. Doctor Who suffers from this every now and then, along with a fire that hit them. And then the big one that, honestly, I love this. Emily in chat, I'm waiting for the Wonderful World of Disney movie they did based around Tower of Terror. I would also love to see that.
I saw that she posted that, and that was definitely one that I was about to mention, that Emily had put that in there. And Emily, that's exactly one that I was like, well, that's going to be on there. Luckily, I have it on DVD, so that's, I can watch it if I want to. But I wanted to make a quick point about this and see if you guys are on board with this. So the fact that we can stream things, and especially like all the Disney movies, and Eric, you talked about the classics. I have a ton of DVDs, and unfortunately for me, these are not but half of them. So this is my library. Like, I don't read books. I watch movies, and so I love DVDs, and we have DVDs of all of our favorite movies, whether it's Back to the Future, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Harry Potter movies. But the fact that you can watch it from your couch on demand and don't have to come here and get the DVD or find it makes it so much easier to watch. So, I mean, I definitely like that. Like, my wife will start a Harry Potter movie in the middle because it's on TV, rather than come up here and grab it. Yep. Just because it's already there, right? So is that just a phenomenon here, or does everybody do that?
No, it's like the DVD thing is such an issue because I've over the years my family's collected so much, and it was so exciting to be like, I'm gonna have access to all of these things my family's been collecting forever. But I feel better now because a lot of them aren't there. One in particular was Merlin Jones. I don't know if you guys ever saw that. It was pretty old, but it was Tommy Kirk, and I know he had a lot of controversy with the company. So looking at it that way too, it's, did the company not want certain actors put on Disney Plus? And so it's good. It feels good to still have some of those DVDs that might not be put online.
Well, and even so, especially with some movies like Back to the Future, there may be a place right now, and I find this a lot, where we'll decide as a family, hey, you know what we should watch tonight? And here's a great example, not Back to the Future. Now You See Me, the Jesse Eisenberg Magicians movie. It was a good movie. It's on Disney. And we were like, hey, let's watch that. And I'm like, where do I find that? Because it wasn't on Netflix, it wasn't on Hulu,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't on Amazon Prime. I don't have it here, so we actually had to rent it online, because not every movie is out there, and that's, as I buy more DVDs, what I keep explaining to my family is that not everything is out there. So if it's something that you love, you're going to get it, and so you kind of have to have it. And I wonder if there'll be a point where Disney doesn't have all the Marvel movies. That's another great example. Marvel, because Disney has the rights to most of them, you can't watch the entire MCU on Disney Plus, because you can't watch Hulk because Universal owns the rights to that. So if you're watching it from beginning to end, you got to stop there. If you want to throw in the Spider-Man movies, those are owned by Sony, so you can't watch those. So I had some people who almost complained to me as if I was Disney Plus customer support in my life, who came to me and they were like, I can't find Hulk. And I'm like, well, there's a reason for that. And they're like, and I said, but honestly, you could skip it. It's really not core to this whole thing, especially because it's not the same actor. It's just, if all you got to do is look up on YouTube the bit where Tony Stark walks in at the end of the bar at the end, and you're good. You don't have to have the rest of it. So there are things that are out there that you can't have streamed, but I just wondered if that was a phenomenon that everybody experienced. Like, oh, hey, we're 2/3 of the way into Back to the Future, we'll just watch the rest of it. And I'm like, I have it on DVD and on Blu-ray. Let's just watch it from the beginning. But I think somebody had said in chat, and it may have been Emily, that the DVD player was too much effort to run it sometimes, and I get that, and especially because this is on the second floor of our house, and the movies that we watch on the first floor, and so oh my gosh,
that's just bad planning.
Upstairs? Shut
up.
Anyway, so as far as the catalog goes, I do think there's a lot of cool stuff in there, and we were talking about search earlier. Sometimes it's interesting with search, if I start to put in something. And I want Ben to talk about this because he's making faces. If I put in something, I'll start to type in letters, and something pops up, and then I hit one letter too many, and I saw an image, but I wasn't sure what it was, and I try to go back, but you can't, because if it doesn't know what you're looking for, it offers you 20 random things.
Yep.
Yeah. So, Ben, do you want to talk about that a little bit?
So my biggest complaint with the search isn't so much with the random results. It's honestly with the poor quality of the search. Earlier today, I was trying to look something up, and I'll just spoil it. I was looking up the Goofy football short, how to play football. So I typed in the search bar Goofy, and I got all the Goofy movies and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, football, no results. I thought this was on here. Back up to Goofy. Scroll down. Yeah, there it is. It's right there. But searching for it directly doesn't give me the result. That. Yeah, that's just bad.
They like their categories.
Yeah, you know what? Honestly, instead of searching, sometimes I do go to the categories instead.
That's sometimes the only way to find things.
Yeah. So when we were doing Phineas and Ferb, I clicked on the Star Wars category. I didn't search that. Yeah, because I'd have to figure out how to spell Phineas. I mean, that's too much work, right?
And what I think is really funny is that I think you actually watched a slightly different version than I did. When you watched it, was it two separate videos? Oh, it was just one combined one? Oh, okay, because you were talking about how it was two episodes from the show. I thought for certain that you found it somewhere where it was listed in two separate parts.
Oh, it is. So if you go...
There we go.
We watched the same one. They parted it out. We've lost Eric. We parted it out they parted it out as a two-part like a mini movie. There's only been one Phineas and Ferb movie so far, but they parted this out as a mini movie. But if you go back and look at Phineas and Ferb in the seasons, and you scroll across season 4, you see it as two separate episodes. So you can watch it that way. Like why you would, I don't know.
Right.
But it was two different episodes. But no, we watched it. I think we watched the same one. You had me worried that maybe we had tainted the system here in some way and offered incorrect information.
No, but so I just love that because there's a way you can watch it where it's two separate episodes in two halves, and there's a way you can watch it that is the whole thing continuous the whole way through. If you're searching for it, who knows which one you're going to find?
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Well, and again, I mean, if you're searching Swiss Family Robinson, and because the Fox stuff is not separated, you need to know which family you're looking for, or you may start to watch the wrong movie, and then you'll get into the Treehouse at Disney World, and you'll be very confused because it won't be anything like the Fox version that you saw. So
you
I
would
mean,
think they would want it too, because they're so they love what they did, like Swiss Family Robinson, a pride and joy of the Disney studio. You would think they would want that as, this is the Disney one and this is the Fox one. We own the right. It's here.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But they
It's
don't.
surprising.
Yeah. So one of the things too is that that when I got this, I thought for sure the Studio Ghibli stuff would be here.
That would make so much sense.
I'm a huge fan of those movies, like the Howl's Moving Castle, The Spirited Away, Ponyo. I love those movies. I think that they're very well done, and it was always cool to me that John Lasseter brought that into the family, of animation, because it gave another dynamic. You had Pixar, you had Marvel, you had not Marvel. You had Pixar, you had Disney animation, and then you had like the Disney Toon animation, like Tinkerbell and that kind of stuff, and then you had Studio Ghibli. That's not there. And so I was disappointed by that, but then I kind of started to dig a little deeper, and apparently there are not they don't stream those. Either you have to have the hard copy of those movies, or you have to go to a film festival locally to see them, because they just choose not to stream them. There's another story that I saw online that maybe HBO Max would get, the new HBO streaming service would get access to them as well, but the Disney they don't have it anymore. And now when you go into the Japan Pavilion at Epcot, you can still buy Studio Ghibli stuff, but it's just not part of that. And so I think that's a little bit weird that there's, I guess, not an anime offering, because most of the other streaming services will bring you some sort of anime. Or is that not weird?
Huh.
I don't think it's weird for Disney.
Yeah.
If you try hard enough, there's that one episode of Gravity Falls, but
yeah, just to have its own little icon.
That's enough. It's fine.
So, I mean, the library itself, I love having it, and I love how easy it is, but I am disappointed that there's not more to it, that you will search and find things. Now, some of the things I understand, too, are rights related, right? So, just as an example, Patrick Hackett and I were going to go and review for Deep in the Plus, Mars Needs Moms. And your first question to your mind is probably why. But it was, I think Pete Carney challenged him to do it. I don't know, but we went in and we did, and I don't hate that movie. I actually, and you can go back and watch the review that he and I did on it. But it gets a lot of, I mean, it's like the Mariah Carey glitter of the Disney animated genre. So when we were watching it, we had it all set and we were going to do it and we were going to watch it. And he hits me up and goes, "Hey man, this isn't on Disney Plus." And I was like, what do you mean it's not on Disney Plus? And I go and search it, because it is in the catalog, but when you searched it, it would come up and say not available until this date. And Ben and I ran into that same thing with The Sorcerer's Apprentice, right? Yep. So The Sorcerer's Apprentice isn't available until October 30th. Prince of Persia is not available, I don't think, yet. John Carter finally is.
I think it came out today.
Oh, did
Prince
it?
of Persia?
Wait.
Okay.
Oh no, John Carter.
John Carter, yeah.
John
Carter. So John Carter is out, but there are a lot of them that they're still not available, that are going to be at some point, and I assume it's that they're waiting for those rights to lapse that they sold to Starz or to Netflix or to whoever. So let's talk about stuff that's still missing. Do you think that the Netflix Marvel stuff will ever come to Disney Plus, or is that always going to be Netflix?
I think Disney's put enough into it already. I don't think they'll push harder to get the rights for those. Honestly, I think they know people are going to watch what's on Disney Plus. I don't think there's a large enough crowd to even notice sometimes that, we are missing so much.
Yeah. So one of the things that I think should be a no-brainer and easily to do, and this may be me and my parks mania, is like Disney parades. Over the years, like the Walt Disney World parks parades that they did. They used to do Easter parades and Christmas parades, and I used to tape them. And people who know me would go, "Why?" And I'm just like, well, but it's like it's a little time capsule of Disney, because they're cross promoting the parks and what's going on behind the scenes and on the cruise ship and all that kind of stuff. So I love those. I feel like that would be an easy no brainer for them to put out there, especially as much as we are consuming the content that is that is like the documentaries and the specials like that. The other thing I think feels like a no-brainer would be like the sing-alongs, the original DVDs that they used to put out that were Disney sing-alongs. That seems to me they own that. Why not just put that out there? They did, and Ben, this is for you, a very special episode of High School Musical, the series, the sing-along. So you could go watch that one. Don't watch it first, though. It'll mess the whole thing up for you. Watch that after when you guys are sitting there and doing it.
Disney Plus needs some laxatives because they got colon problems with that. That's
no. I would send you to the corner, but you're already in the corner. So, Eric, let me ask you, what's missing from Disney Plus?
So no, it's funny. You nailed it on the head. I've always said that those sing-alongs should be on here. I love those sing-alongs, and I feel like it's something that kids now can definitely watch, and because it's so funny. Disney, it's not like Disney's above doing sing-alongs. Like, they just finished doing the family sing-along. They're gonna do another one tomorrow that airs. So it's like sing-alongs are just a no given to me. Like, people are gonna know your songs. People are gonna want to see, the movies that those songs might come from. And I think that's a good time as well, because they're all like different songs from different movies or different rides or something like that. That's a perfect time for someone to be like, "Oh, what was that? Like, I really enjoyed that song. I'd never seen that movie." And then you're already on Disney Plus. Let me go on and check it out.
Yeah. What about you, Katie? Anything like we already know that Ben is just hankering for some Muppets, so really
that's why I didn't.
I completely agree with you for more park content because it stands the test of time. Disneyland Around the Seasons is on Disney Plus. I think it's 1967, and I could watch it all day. So imagine if we had current content that will just continue to age, and it can sit there, and people will watch it instead of being directed to YouTube or going to other streaming platforms, none of which probably have Disney shows. But when I want to see something, it would be so much easier to be able to pull up a parade on Disney Plus than have to go search it on YouTube and find a good version. Or if we had official copies of that, it would be really cool, especially for people who aren't able to travel to the foreign parks. If we had a lot of foreign content on there, that would be incredible. But I don't know if I'll version that.
So they released a DVD set that was they were in like these tin cans. I don't know if you guys ever had these, right? So they released these, and there are a ton of these that I feel like should, again, be its own content on there, the Walt Disney Treasures. This one's stuff about Disneyland, and when the Disney stuff was on Travel Channel, like they would have on their stuff about like the top 10 scariest rides that and Disney parks.
Oh my gosh!
I would eat that stuff up. I would watch it 3 or 4 times in a row. That again seems like a no-brainer if the content exists, and they own this. They clearly own this because they released it. Why don't they do more of this stuff? And there were at least a dozen of these Disney Treasures boxes, and each of them had multiples. And a lot of it was Disneyland, like just Disneyland, the TV show that Walt did, that was the promotion for the parks. I would watch those in their entirety if they still existed. Like if every one of them was there, I would watch them all. So to me, you're right. Parks content should definitely be something that's there that's not.
Yeah.
Anybody else have any of that?
I got one. You inspired me there with the tins that they own and all the little intro bits and outro bits with Leonard Maltin, I think is his name, if I'm not saying
Leonard Maltin.
Maltin, thank you. They had another thing that advertised a lot of parks content and things like that I'm certain that they own the rights to. All the park TV stuff. Like,
oh my gosh,
let's do the must-dos. Like, let's bring all that back. Let's put that on there. Like, I'm sure it's cheap to free for them to put that up there. It's just the bandwidth, and it would make a couple people like us so happy. It's like, what?
Oh my gosh. Like if you had one of those from the 1980s, I would totally watch that.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that'd be so cool. Like, what's the resort TV look like in 1985? Oh.
Yeah, and I would always go in the hotel room and turn that on first thing, and my family would be like, "Why are you watching this?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I love it.
You have to.
It makes me happy."
It's like the ritual.
Yeah, and they would be like, "Oh, that hostess annoys me," and I'm like, "That's not what I'm watching this for."
That's the point.
That's the point. That's the point. She's...
Anybody else waiting for the loop? Like, you're like, wait a minute, where's the loop in this whole thing? So, like, because it does loop, but it's like a seamless loop. Oh my gosh, I used to love those things. And again, like, there's the Times, like the Disney Times one, which obviously is, not going to happen until the parks open again. But when you check into the hotel and it's got that screen, some people have grabbed that stuff. It was good. It was really good stuff. And again, like, to your point, Ben, cheap and easy. Why do it?
Yes. Do it, cowards.
Especially now in the situation that we're in, and we're all hungry for Disney content. How easy would that have been? I mean, they're releasing recipes online and other things. If they had put this in there for us, it would
so easy.
Yeah,
make it happen, Disney. Make it happen.
Yeah.
I know you're watching.
They need an option on that video to put it on infinite loop so you can simulate the real Disney hotel room experience.
Yep. I mean, they're creating that stream somewhere, and that stream exists.
Yeah.
So you should be
Just
able to
fork it out. There you go.
Yeah, exactly. So, Megan, like that is everything to me now, and my new mission in life is to find that and make that happen. So let me go back to because like we're starting to run low on time, but I want to ask a question about the Fox content they bought. They bought so much Fox content. They bought Alien. They bought Avatar. They bought Home Alone. They bought all of these things. And from a park standpoint, I would love it if they would do a Christmas Fox like party at the studios where they would use some of that IP in there, or the same thing like a Halloween Horror Nights at Universal, and do like some of the scary content and do it at the studios, so that you had two options that you could do: the Mickey's Not So Scary at the Magic Kingdom, and then at the studios do like some of those Live Those movies. So they've got all this content, and as a parks fan, I want it all. But at the same time, as far as Disney Plus goes, I feel like that they've got this, and Lizzie McGuire and the Love, Simon sequel were both examples of this may be too hot or too let's just stick with hot to put on Disney Plus. Where are they going to put that stuff? I mean, they own Hulu, so they could put it there, but it feels like it would be lost because I watch Hulu for shows I missed, not usually for original content. So what are they going to do with all this Fox content? And I want to go to Ben because he looks like he's bursting.
Oh, well, I'm over here bursting because of two things you've said, which is one that about putting the Christmas content in the parks. I want to see a Die Hard in studios. Like I don't know exactly how you make that work, but I swear it's got to involve projection mapping Nakatomi Tower on top of Tower of Terror, and I would love to see that.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
The other thing in there, gosh, I'm blanking now because that Die Hard was just so good.
Well, I mean, you've got Home Alone,
Aliens.
Street.
Yeah. That's what it was, right? Because you suggested having like a serious event with more of the horror stuff over at studios, and then you could have Not So Scary over at Magic Kingdom. The concern I see with that is that if you do that, people are going to buy tickets for one thinking it's the other, and we're going to have problems.
Yeah.
Because we're going to have a lot of kids going and getting scared about things and their parents were like, I thought this was a Disney park. And you're going to have a lot of people going to Mickey's Not So Scary and going, this is the lamest thing. Why did my friends tell me that the Disney Halloween party was cool? And that just seems like a can of worms.
Well, then they should take my advice and open a fifth gate. But
there it is.
That's another conversation. Yeah. So then, Katie, what do they do with all this content? Like, where are they going to put it?
Who knows? No, obviously not on Disney Plus.
Why?
Why? I don't know. I just honestly, I love Disney Plus. I love having the access, but I'm really disappointed. One of the main things from Fox that I wanted to see was Cleopatra, and it was not put on, which I was kind of bummed about because I was like, oh, we're getting Fox. We're going to have all these classic Fox films, but we did not. So I'm hoping one day it's going to be put on there. Maybe Hulu, at one point, will even take a lot of it. But I don't know.
So that's the thing, though. We talk about the fact there's not a Fox section on there. Like, would it be what we call in radio safe harbor? Like, would it be okay to have Disney Plus, but have a section that is Fox, that is maybe parental controlled or something like that?
That would make it so much easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, they've got all this content that we don't have our hands on, and maybe they've got a plan for it. I don't know. It makes me think of like when they had Disney Movies Anywhere, and they changed it to Movies Anywhere so that it could be for everything. Like, so is that the way they do this, Eric?
I personally think they just put it on Hulu. They own it. It's not Disney Plus. They can take everything that's family friendly and everything that they want, like Disney and all that. Take it off of Hulu. That if they have any there, put it on Disney Plus and just have everything like that on Hulu. Because it is separate. I understand their concerns. I understand where they're coming from when they say that they don't want any of that stuff on there. I get it. And at this point, I think you just need to blur the lines. Yes, it's Fox properties, and Disney now owns Fox, and Disney has Disney Plus and Hulu, but they need to just be able to just separate it and not act like they don't have Hulu, that they can't just dump everything on there, because they can.
Yeah. Well, in chat, I see more Beverly Please saying Disney Plus Plus, and then also Disney Adults Only.
It's just odd because other streaming services have found a way to make it user-friendly to everyone. So there's in Netflix, there's a kids section, and there's on Netflix they have different profiles for just kids. I don't know if Disney Plus does that. I have not sold her up, but maybe something like that. Restricted.
I feel like the problem with that is because of the name. That's honestly it. It's because it's Disney. And that's why I'm saying it's just easier for them. Hulu has nothing on it that it says that it's Disney. Unless you know that Disney owns Hulu, there's nothing on there that says it. Mm-hmm. So it's very easy for them to just dump all that product over there.
Yeah. So here's the other thing about that, though, is that I agree with you 100%, Katie. Like they are able to gate that stuff, so it should be something we have that extra option. But I also agree with you, Eric, that it is the Disney name. I mean, back when Michael Eisner started like Touchstone and Hollywood Pictures, that was so that he could release some edgier content and not have the Disney name on it. So it was all Buena Vista distribution, but it was not. I mean, and then they bought Miramax. So I mean, they have had the ability to do that, and maybe now they can do that under the Fox brand. Free Guy. Is it Free Guy? What is the Ryan Reynolds movie?
Free Guy.
Yeah, Deadpool. So there's well, that's a great example too. As I was thinking, like you can't watch Deadpool on Disney Plus, right? Or we were talking. I mean, Katie was talking about The Simpsons. You can't watch Family Guy on there, or there's like Ryan Murphy content. I mean, not just Fox movies, but like Fox television shows. So there is a ton of content out there that I feel like. And I agree, they could put it on Hulu, but I feel like it just gets lost over there. And then on top of all that, you've also got that Disney Now app. And the Disney Now app has more Disney Channel stuff and more Disney Junior stuff than is actually on Disney Plus. So there's still more content that's not on there. It feels like that it should all be in the same place, or they should have a very specific, like 2 or 3 different apps so that you know what you're getting, but you still get it as one package if you're worried about the branding. But it is ironic they spend $74 billion for this content, and that they're not going to put it on Disney Plus, which is one of the reasons they said they were buying it. Yeah, because the best stuff is yet to come from Fox. It really is. Okay, so I wanted to do something that we normally do with the regular Deep in the Plus show. So we will go deep into a movie, and then we talk about it. And we talk about the voice actors or the regular actors, and we talk about like things that were happening at the time and Easter eggs and all that kind of stuff. And then at the end, we usually like to do a pick of the week. So I've asked everybody on the panel to do a pick of the week. So something that you like in Disney Plus right now that you want to recommend, and it can be new, it could be old, it can be a short or anything else that you that you want it to be. So I'm going to start with Katie. What did you pick this week?
This week, only because it was something I recently watched that I was really intrigued with, was the elephant documentary. I know we were kind of like, oh, Nat Geo, whatever, but the elephant documentary, which was, I think the narrator was Meghan Markle, was actually, like, it was making me emotional. I was like, wow, they are really doing crazy storytelling just through these elephants, and they did a spectacular job with it. And then they go even farther and they do the behind the scenes on how they filmed it. And it was an interesting thing to see. Got me in a good headspace. I was like, this is great. I would watch more of this. But I would definitely recommend it. Nat Geo, I'm rooting for you.
Well, that's actually Disney Nature. That's
Disney,
part of the
is it? It's not even Nat Geo?
Okay.
Oh, look, I don't even know my own pick. I'm sorry.
No, I'm not trying to pick it apart. I'm just saying it's interesting to me that there's another level there, because Disney Nature was one of those things that they started a few years back, and they would release it usually on Earth Day, and so that brand. It's interesting that it never really took hold. There was a time where it was a different category. So they would be like Pixar, it would be Disney Toon, it would be Marvel, Star Wars,
Disney Nature, yeah. Because they had the Crimson Wing documentary about the flamingos, and I always enjoyed it. I thought it was always pushed to the back a little bit, but wow, now I feel bad for standing up for Nat Geo, and they didn't even do the one I recommended.
Well, but again, I mean, the brands are blending, so how? I mean, I don't.
It's hard to tell them apart.
I don't think the average person really cares, and because they don't separate it into all those pockets, but Nat Geo they do separate it a little bit. So. All right, Ben, you spelled yours a little bit earlier. What you got?
Yeah, I kind of did. I couldn't think of a way to not give the ball game away there, pun intended. My pick of the week is the Goofy How to Play Football short, which caught my attention because it had the tag on there about this contains depictions that were of the time and is presented as it originally was. But there's nothing wrong with this short. Like, let me know, Ben_center on Twitter. Let me know if there's something in there that I'm just missing that's wrong with this short. But it seemed like the most wholesome, wonderful thing. Just like I remembered all of the Goofy shorts being. If you keep having me on the show, I'm just going to go through these pretty much one by one and knock them down at this point. Because it's so well done. There's so many good little bits. Like I'm not going to give the whole thing away, but there's a point where they kick a field goal and the ball sits on the post and just kind of wobbles back and forth. Was it in or out or in or out? And it's time in the half, so they shoot the pistol off. They shoot the ball. The ball deflates. Half of it falls on each side of the goalpost. So they give each team a half point. You know. And it's classic bits like that just it's like 5 minutes long, and it's solid 5 minutes of that's good the whole way through.
You know what though, you would be surprised. Again, we've done 14 episodes of Deep in the Plus since Disney Plus started. We did one on launch day. Jill and I did Newsies. And, every time we do one, it's really neat to kind of rediscover these movies. And sometimes, like, she hated Tron, and so I made her watch Tron as my pick because I wanted to see Tron. Legacy, not the original. I know that the original is not great, but I still love it. But it's funny to me that when I ask people to do a deep pick, a lot of times they do pick a short. But that is also because I'm asking them to watch two things in 1 week. So yeah, keep picking them, man. I mean, I think Dave Smith picked like Mickey and Through the Mirror or something like that. So no, he picked Three Little Pigs. He picked Three Little Pigs.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's good too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, Eric, what you got?
All right, so mine is gonna be prop culture. I just love movies. I love being able to see things like props and wardrobe and costuming and all that stuff. And the cool thing about it is that like the movies that they were able to do like behind the scenes stuff with was just great. They have like Mary Poppins, they have Tron, Nightmare Before Christmas, Pirates of the Caribbean, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. They did Who Framed Roger Rabbit and the Muppet Movie. And it's so cool to be able to see the props and the costuming from that specific movie. But then Dan also does a really good job, which is like the host of the show. He does a really good job of like going to see people that worked on these movies that might have not have seen these props for years. In the Honey I Shrunk the Kids episode, he does an interview. Oh my gosh, his name slipped my mind and I had it.
Rick Moranis?
Who plays... Yes, he does an interview with Rick Moranis in that episode. And I'm just like, it's great to be able to just see these people that, you know, if you grew up watching these movies, just being able to see them connect to specific things from there. I love Netflix's, I know we're talking about Disney Plus, but I love Netflix, the movies that made us and the toys that made us.
Mm-hmm.
I love those. I really, really love them, and I think this is such a good way for Disney to be able to get into that space and be able to show people, you know, things. And the cool thing is you get to also go into the Disney archives in some of these, and you get to really know that, like, you get to learn that, like, movies back then, like Mary Poppins, there's not a lot of things from that movie because it wasn't important for them to, like, save things. And it's so weird, like, for us movie people, it's like, oh, I would love to see, you know, all that, you know, kind of thing. But yeah, prop culture, and the episodes are really short. The episodes are like 30-something minutes. So there's 8 episodes in 4 hours. You guys can knock it out. But yeah, that's my pick.
So what would you like to see season 2? Name a couple movies you'd like to see him do in season 2.
Oh, man. The Rocketeer, I believe we spoke about this, Rob. Rocketeer was
awesome.
one that I was honestly really amazed it wasn't on here. I was like, that would be an awesome one to see. Let's see. Honestly, I don't even, like, I think some of the live action movies would actually kind of be cool to see. Maybe even like Mary Poppins Return kind of thing.
Ooh,
like something,
yeah.
some stuff like that. Saving Mr. Banks would be a great one. Like stuff that they don't really, you know, like talk about much, I think would be really cool.
Yeah, with the Rocketeer, I think about the Bulldog Cafe that used to be on the back lot at Hollywood Studios, and that I think that still exists somewhere. I don't know where. And you're talking about Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. We did a Deep in the Plus. Nathan from WDWNT did that one with me, and we talked about Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. And they're doing a new show, so you know that's it. There's a lot of neat stuff in there that I think will be good for a long time coming. So we talked about documentary stuff. I picked Disney Gallery, Star Wars: The Mandalorian, and part of that is obviously that I love Star Wars. You know, I could probably talk about Star Wars for a long time.
All right, wrap it up.
All right, Tom, fine. He only gave us 120 minutes. So, look, Star Wars Gallery is really cool because there's things about Mandalorian I didn't know because they had 7 directors and they were big-time directors, and Bryce Dallas Howard, who was the daughter of Ron Howard, is one of them. She was in Jurassic Park. She's directing in this. It's just a really interesting mix of directors that they have, and they do a roundtable discussion where Jon Favreau, as the producer, sits around and talks to them about, you know, hey, this was a challenge for you, and what did you think about doing this? And this was a totally different feel for you. And the director of Thor Ragnarok is one of the directors who was in there. So I mean, it's really well done. And again, just because I love the special features that are available on DVD and things like that, I love being able to go beyond the show or beyond the movie, and usually don't go beyond the show, usually just go beyond the movie. And this one going beyond a show that is basically shot like movie episodes, and that they had these different directors. Dave Filoni, they talked on and on about how amazing, because he came from Clone Wars, right, and how amazing he is, and how he thinks and like basically understands the Star Wars universe. So I mean, I really think this is a neat show. It's fairly new, so more episodes still are coming out. But it's a good thing also to keep you involved in the Mandalorian universe while we're waiting for season 2 to drop. If it drops in the fall when it's supposed to. And again, in the world we live in, who knows if that'll happen on time or not. But And because Tom wants us to wrap this thing up, I just want to say thank you guys again for sharing your Saturday night with us. You know, the guys on the panel here, you guys have done a great job, and thanks for jumping in and doing this with me. You guys who are in the chat, thank you guys for chatting with us. We would love to do another one of these sometime. So if that's something that you guys think you'd like to do, definitely hit us up in the comments and let us know. If you played bingo tonight, thank you for doing that. Just something we thought would be fun. Send your bingo card to me at robw@wdwnt.com. That's a lot of W's. And we'll send you one of the pins, the first 10 people who can get me those. And again, just let us know what you think of the content that we're doing. We do it for you. For the Wigs, thank you so much for everything that you do. Don't forget you get those post shows, and we love having you on here. So until next time, thank you for going deep into the plus, and we'll see you real soon.